Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we have something super awesome to take a look at. We have a brand new Safari Ltd figure. If you actually had caught my last news video, you will have obviously seen in that video that Safari Ltd has just recently put out some really cool Dino Dana inspired figures, as they have acquired the rights to that toy line, and they have begun that toy line starting with this really awesome Feathered T-Rex, which was previously released from Safari Ltd, but we now have it in a really cool Dino Dana paint scheme. Before we go any further with the review though, I do want to ask you guys to make sure that if you are interested in picking this up or any other Safari Ltd figures from their website, that you check the link in the description, as I will have a link that will take you straight to the Safari Ltd website, which will apply a really nice discount of 15% off on your order. So make sure that if you are interested, you either use the code Andy at checkout, or again, just click the link down in the description, head on over to the Safari Ltd website and save yourself 15% off, which is an exclusive code to this channel. But anyway, I was a huge fan of the initial Tyrannosaurus, the Feathered T-Rex. I absolutely love that figure. When it comes to a Feathered Tyrannosaurus, in my opinion, there is no better that I've seen so far than the original Safari Ltd Feathered Rex, the first version of this. And I must say that I am really pleasantly surprised to see just how nice the paint scheme on this newest version looks. I have actually not seen the Dino Dana film yet. It's not something that I've seen at any stores that I go to or anywhere that's, readily available. I would actually be interested in seeing it. My son used to be obsessed with Dino Dan, so we had watched a lot of that back when that show was still on, and unfortunately we haven't been able to catch any of Dino Dana, even though I would definitely be interested in watching it. But the images that I've seen of the Feathered Rex from Dino Dana definitely looks like this as far as the paint scheme and even the overall appearance. So I think Safari Ltd made a very good decision by reusing this formerly released figure and giving it the really cool Dino Dana paint scheme, especially considering the fact that I think this is probably one of Safari Ltd's best, for sure, Tyrannosaurs, but potentially one of their best and most striking models ever. It is that good. But again, the figure is really nice looking, which you can see. The paint scheme is very vibrant, giving it a very flashy and kind of a male-like appearance, and definitely a beautiful look, honestly. It looks natural overall and really nicely applied as far as the actual paint application goes. One thing that's very interesting actually about the Dino Dana figures is that there are codes that you can use to check your dinosaurs out in an augmented reality setting, which you can see right here. If we open this up, it says scan and play. So you have to download this app that you see right here, which you can find on the Google Play Store, and then you would just have to scan the code on this, and you'll be able to check out this really cool Tyrannosaurus in action. And that's something that they do with, I believe, all of the Dino Dana figures, which is, again, another really awesome aspect of these figures from Safari Ltd. But this Rex right here in front of us looks gorgeous, so let's go ahead and get a closer look at it right now. Now, we have actually taken a look at this figure previously. Again, with the initial release, we have reviewed the Sculpt, so we really don't need to take a look at the Sculpt again, review it, but we will, just because it's been so long since I reviewed this Rex that my reviews, in my opinion, have definitely gotten better over time, so I'll just go ahead and take another look at it. But you can see, starting up here at the head sculpt of your Tyrannosaurus, the scale detail is incredibly well done, like it always is on Safari Ltd figures. You have a really nice textured appearance, and honestly, the scale detail here on the upper side of the head compared to the lower side looks a little different, so you definitely have some difference in the overall appearance of the scaling. You can also see some wounds here on the face of your Rex, and that's definitely something that we saw in the initial release. I'm really happy to see it come back again on this one, and it's definitely a nice touch and a nice dose of realism for your figure on the part of Safari Ltd. You can see that we have like a nice light brown here, and then also down here on the lower jaw with some shades of actually some gray poking up here on the lower jaw, but some darker shades show up right here. You also have another wound right there. The eye is painted with a yellow and given a nice black pupil right there. And then it transitions to a little bit of that brown up here, that light brown that we see, but then that brown transitions to a yellow. And it's a really cool, flashy look, I think, for the Rex to have quite a bright and flashy paint scheme to it, but again, they've managed to make it look incredibly natural on this figure. You can see the teeth are all sculpted quite nicely down here, maybe a little bit too thick in the paint department on the teeth, but it doesn't look bad by any means, and you can definitely see that they look good the entire way around. There's more wounds right here on this side of the face. You can also see the nostrils sculpted out up there. The eye is also painted with a yellow over here as well, and again you can see the grayish coloration up here on the face. As you start to lead back into the eye socket area, you can see some of the feathers pick up. So there is definitely a nice dose of feathering and scales here on the face of the Rex. The inside of the mouth looks really quite nice. You have a beautifully textured and detailed tongue in there with a nice reddish coloration. You can get a good shot of it right there. And then here on the inside of the mouth, you can see how insanely highly detailed the upper jaw is, and you can also see, if you look back there in the tongue area, what appears to be the throat of your Rex as well. So they definitely gave it about as highly detailed of an appearance as it could possibly get. As you start to lead back here into the back of the head leading into the neck, you can see the really big kind of fluffier feathers picking up, and you can see that we have some nice variations of yellows. Of course, we have that light yellow, which is like the primary color of the upper side of the Rex, but you have like a bit of a darker yellow, almost bordering on an orange, and some brown, and they just kind of spot through, which is definitely a very bird-like feature to the model, and I think it looks very nice the way it's applied to this, and I love how bird-like, again, it makes the entire figure look. Just a really cool idea as far as the way that that area is painted. I really like that, and the actual feathers themselves are really beautifully sculpted. Like, I like how they just stick off of the back of the head. Like, really, really nice looking sculpt and detail on the part of Safari Ltd. You can also see leading down here into the neck, you have some hanging skin in the throat, and you can see more of that really nice scale detail. You also have some of those dark gray stripes, that dark gray that runs down here from the face down into the neck, and that continues to stripe there in the throat region. You can also see it over here on this side. Again, you can see a nice turn in the head sculpt of the Rex, and you can even see that turn is like displayed within the movement here in the throat region. So Safari Ltd always goes the extra mile as far as sculpting out very nice detailing and very realistic detailing in their figures. You can then see that this gray actually transitions, like the gray continues but transitions into a brown. So we now have a nice dark brown, and that stripes right through the entire course of the body, but then also stripes up and down out of that stripe. So there's a whole lot of striping going on, but it's a really cool look, I think, for the figure. I really quite like that. And you can also see like an orangish brown that kind of runs around the striping here in the side of the dinosaur all the way out onto the tail, and you can see that that then transitions to this lighter yellow up here on the top. The feather detail continues to look really nice the entire way down the course of this dinosaur. You can see the hip bone is present right there, and you can also see that the thighs look incredibly immense and muscular, even the calves as well. And I like how the feathering up here is almost emu-like, and then as it transitions down here into the calf region, it gets to a lot finer of a feathering. And you can also see the arms up here look really good as far as the sculpt goes, and as well as the feather detail. You can see some scoots down the course of the fingers, very nicely painted nails with a black coloration. So beautiful detailing throughout the entire figure. As you lead down into the foot sculpt looks gorgeous, and I like how they've given it like a nice grayish wash, so all of that detail in the foot pops really beautifully, very realistically. You have some scoots down the course of both the foot and the toes, and then again some really nicely painted nails. The nails actually look more like a dark gray than a black, and you can also see the dew claws are present on the feet. You can also see a nice dose of the scale detail here on the underside of the Rex, but it's pretty much enclosed in feathers all around it. You can see them all kind of circling around that little scaly area here on the underside of the Rex. And then as you lead out the length of the tail, you can see some really shaggy feathers the entire course of that tail, as well as some absolutely beautiful coloration. Again, really nice and flashy color for this Rex. And then as you lead over here, you could definitely see that the Rex has a beautiful left turn in the head. In fact, the entire body pretty much has a little bit of a left turn to it. You can see the arm, again, is in a really nice natural position, kind of held close to the body. Exactly, it looks like the same position as the arm on the opposing side. Some more absolutely beautiful paintwork, as well as incredible detailing as we lead through the rest of the Rex. You can see some nice beefiness to the stomach region. Definitely a very well-fed Rex. Again, we can see the hip bone right here, and can move this tag out of the way. You can again see that the feather detail starts out kind of scruffy up here in the thigh region, but then transitions to a bit of a finer feathering in the calf, and then down into the foot we have again that really nice wash, making sure every ounce of that scale detail pops beautifully right there in the foot region of the Rex. And then we lead out the length of the tail again with those really big fluffy looking, again, emu-like feathering right there in the tail. I'm really impressed with just how smooth the brown stripe is as far as the application of the paint. Like, that's really naturally applied. So this Rex is incredible. The initial version was incredible, and this one, in my opinion, is just as incredible. As far as a size goes on our Rex, for a length, you are looking at about 12¼ inches or about 31½ centimeters. And then for a height, to the top of the feathered area there on the neck would probably be the highest area. You were looking at about 5½ inches or around the 14-centimeter range. So a really nicely sized figure, and you can see that even though it came with a plastic stand to help it balance, it absolutely does not need it, as it can stand perfectly on its own. But as far as a comparison goes, here is the original Safari Ltd Feathered Tyrannosaurus Rex with the newest version, the repainted Dino Dana version, and you can definitely see that the two of them look so cool together, like absolutely an incredibly awesome duo. The original one, again, is just an absolute beast of a figure. I am a huge fan of that Rex, but this newest one from Safari Ltd, in my opinion, is equally as beautiful, and they have absolutely nailed everything on this figure. Yet again, for the second time, just two killer releases from Safari Ltd, and I love both of these feathered Tyrannosaurus Rex figures. Even if they are now inaccurate, we're back to the scaly type of a look. For a Rex, I think both are incredibly well done, and I've always been a huge fan of the feathered look for a Tyrannosaurus. So in my opinion, again, you aren't going to find much better as far as a feathered Rex than what you see before you here. So this brand new 2021 Dino Dana Feathered Tyrannosaurus Rex is a gorgeous figure. Again, the sculpt is a reused sculpt. It is just basically a repaint of the previous release, as everything is exactly the same sculpt-wise, and I'm okay with that, because being such an incredible and very popular figure from Safari Ltd, it's really nice to see it get a second dose of love from them and get a little more use out of the sculpt, because the sculpt deserves more use because it is so beautiful. So I'm okay with a second repaint. I'd be okay with a third repaint. It's that nice. It's just an incredibly beautiful sculpt showing a really nice Tyrannosaurus Rex, completely covered almost anyway, in feathers, and really showing not only the beauty of the Rex, but also the very fierce and intimidating side of a Tyrannosaurus all in one model. So that's very impressive that they can pull all of those aspects out of a Tyrannosaurus Rex here in their model. The paintwork on the newest version, again, is really bright, really flashy, but looks really nice and natural, I would say, on the figure. All of the actual application of the paint as well is incredibly well done, and they've managed to, again, give it such a beautiful bird-like appearance as far as the actual color scheme goes, but they've applied it beautifully on the model. So this is definitely a huge recommendation from me. If you are a fan of the initial Tyrannosaurus, the Feathered Rex from Safari Ltd, you will definitely be a fan of this newest version, because it is just as beautiful as the initial version. So if you are interested, I will include a link in the description again to take you straight to the Safari Ltd website, where you can purchase this for yourself. And make sure that if you do, again, that you use that code Andy at checkout, or again use the link in the description, which will take you to the Safari Ltd website and just automatically apply the discount code for you, so that you can get yourself this beautiful Tyrannosaurus Rex with 15% off. So make sure that you head to the description, go through that link, go buy yourself this beautiful Rex with a really nice discount, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.